Welcome or welcome back to the Light Renegades. My name is Starr. For those that might find themselves here for the first time, thank you so much for joining us. I would perhaps start at the beginning of this series with regards to the darkness. I would say that this series is breaking down the paradigms of what we once considered the darkness to be and understanding that we can just access more light at any given moment. And I think if you found yourself here, it's because there's perhaps incidences in your life where you are getting trapped in old programming. I think this is the main message that is being brought forward in this channeling from Lucifer from today. So I do have a pre-channeled message that I'm going to read for you from Lucifer. I know that this may be something that is alarming to some that might be here for the first time. I know it's still potentially splitting the crowd somewhere, and we are just trying to understand everything to such a degree that we just have total freedom. That's what I realized Lucifer's main message is that he is wanting to give us understanding about the light capacity and give us freedom, everyone. But if this sounds like it's not your channeling for today, please don't just switch over from the channel. Please head over to our playlist. We do have some, I guess, more accessible channelings at this time from the Galactic Alliance, which is our fractal of the Galactic Federation of Light that once was. We have my Pleiadian Starseed Anna Maria bringing forward the Grace Collective, and also GA messages as well, and the Pleiadian High Council. And this is more, I guess, like everyday understanding and how to bring more galactic energy into your life and how to balance the ascension process at this point, everyone. So if here doesn't feel like your message today, please just head over to our playlist. We have some meditations as well. You might find a space for you over there. But to those that are in real time, I'm going to have to apologize because I feel like you're waiting for me to be able to bring forward, I guess, more cohesive messages, everyone. And I've come to a time where I feel like I've gone into a meditative state for this weekend because I'm actually going to be in ceremony with Kambo. So today's channeling feels a little bit more simple as opposed to what we've been delving into the past couple of days. But I think you're going to have to wait for me to come back after clearing everyone for me to be able to bring forward information that is a bit more of depth. Lucifer kind of sets up the parameters for what we will be delving into, but I'm not entirely sure when I will be back. Next week at some point, I presume, but it might not be Monday for those that are in real time. So just to warn you. And I was feeling a lot of energy be downloaded into me before channeling this message and before setting up for this video. And I thought that I think there is going to be an energetic shift that is happening with regards to the Lucifer series that allows you to break down some perhaps like really rigid energy that has been stuck with you for some time, everyone. And I'm not being given the full understanding of this, but the way that I was reading it was just kind of like this idea of that our rigidity in our thought processes was allowing for our energy to be the same. And I'm sure that that makes sense to everyone. If we are so strict in our understanding, our energy is that still too. So us breaking down this idea of, what is good, what is bad, what is darkness, what is not, that's allowing us to move more freely in the energetic realms as well, everyone. So just be, I think, aware of this with regards to this channeling. I would say make sure that you are drinking plenty of water because I feel like there is an energetic exchange that is happening with regards to this energy. And, if this doesn't feel like your space, if you feel like you don't want to be, receiving some form of energetic download today, then I would suggest, hopping off and missing this video for when you feel like it is best aligned for you. But I will go ahead and read the message. So Lucifer's message was titled, Give Yourself Time. And he started with, Hello everyone. I come here today with a new layer, an aspect which I think we can all agree exists, and that is desire. I'm here to make you all aware that your desires, what you crave, and what you think you need is constantly being told to you. Through information you consume and the content you perhaps think isn't harming you. Have you ever watched something, a movie perhaps, a horror, and a notion from said movie lingered with you, in your mind, your body, or your spirit? This is where the NRs exist, and we're talking about the negative reptilians here, everyone. This is where the NRs exist in your field. I know it may be difficult a notion to grasp, but the NRs have such a way of communicating with you so you believe their lies, their words, as your own. I often hear being shared between beings this idea of the devil on your shoulder. For all purposes moving forward, I want you to understand no words of negativity need be in your field. Anyone whom is watching this video is ready to set themselves free from the past. especially past programming. This leads back into past lives also. We'll be going deeper with this information. We'll be going deeper into what it means to have free will and to decide to access more light, what the NRs do to stop you from accessing your light, and how this can happen. These are small ways that NRs win. You are raising the vibration of the earth to such a degree the past ways of coerce are no longer winning. However, this is not for all. There are still some that may be stuck in the dark because they've just never experienced the light. This is where I wish to encourage you all to accept everyone as they come. Boundaries, of course, but if you see someone, any being, struggling, help them. This may be as simple as sending your light from your heart to them. This will be enough to set a soul free. You have no idea of your power, especially those watching in the here and now. You hold all the power. The reason for me stepping forward in this time is to remind you that the light always wins. And it is up to you to decide to say no to anything that does not give you love or nourishment. Because I promise you, they will try. For some, you are still in the stages of accessing more light and you will be tested, and that is okay. For some, this will be a constant battle to remind yourself that you deserve the light and that you can set yourself free. No one is trapped here. You all chose to be here, especially those that are watching of such expanse. The minute you give your power away outside of self is the minute you give your power over to them. We are coming to a time where every inch counts, so keep your eyes open. Who needs light? Send it to them. Who needs love? Send it to them. A gushy message from me today you perhaps did not expect, and this be a reminder to anyone that still believes the dark is me. I am not cold. I am not made of stone. I have love for all beings, tremendously so. Anything that is telling you to resist love, compassion, or empathy is not me. A reminder for those that perhaps needed to hear it today. And for me personally, there was so much within this message that I'm still trying to get a full grasp, because I feel like I've been shown so many things over the past, probably the past year, with regards to, the darkness and negative reptilian order and how this is connected to consumerables out within the world right now. And, I think that we're coming to a time where everything is just going to start to become increasingly obvious to you all. And I found it interesting that this channeling came through today, because I wasn't necessarily going to share something that happened to me personally behind the scenes, because one, I didn't want it to scare any of you out there, and two, I wasn't entirely sure why it happened or how it had happened. But what happened was, after I shared the first Lucifer message, that night I was visited by the negative reptilians. And what happened was, it was just after I got into bed, and it was like I was visioned being in a space. I was in a house, and I could see beings outside and inside, and they were wearing, it was like skin masks. And I found this interesting because maybe a night ago before, I was watching a movie and the people were wearing skin masks. And for some reason, I found it really disturbing. And I thought, and it did linger with me. And this, ties into what Lucifer is saying here. So when the Annals came in, they were wearing these skin masks because they were tugging at something that they know had already triggered me into such a space of me just finding it disturbing. And I didn't understand why this has happened, because, I've got into a stage in my journey where I don't necessarily have to, interact with beings or protect my energy every day to such a degree like I did at the beginning of my journey. I'm in a space now where, my teams of light do protect me. I've kind of worked through all of those aspects. And, there was a time when I was visited by the negative reptilians often, and I've grown out of that aspect. So I wasn't entirely sure why this has happened. But now from receiving this message, I understand that it's about the things that we are consuming. And I know that Shauna L. Francis has brought forward some information with regards to, consuming mass media and how that can affect the system. And probably as soon as I started to step forward into, the light path, the spiritual path, whatever you wish to call it, the awakening process, there was just so many things that I just didn't resonate with anymore with regards to, popular culture or media. And there were certain things, especially from the past way that I was living, that was being, shut down to me and told that this wasn't for my highest vibration. And there has been so many incidences with regards to the music industry and movies that I've been guided to, and to understand, that they are creating such fabrics within sound, especially, that is targeting our frequencies, our systems, to scramble our energy and allow for the negative reptilians to influence you somewhere. So just be cautious, everyone. And this is not to say you have to be looking over your shoulder at all times. That's not what we're saying at all. We're just saying just be aware of what you are consuming, because you are then allowing yourself to be perhaps more at the will of the negative reptilians than you realize. And I dare say that there is a lot of people out there, within the masses, that are just getting trapped time and time again because they are just continuing to consume, what is given to them. And I feel like it's just, I think something that has been so shocking to me in this path is just taking a look at general media now. From the vantage point that I have, it's like I spot things instantly, I hear things instantly, and just to even, sometimes I will catch 5 minutes of something that, someone else is watching in my house, and just the amount of violence, the amount of bloodshed, the amount of, torture and pain that is pervaded often within the mass media, I find now shocking. And, at one point I was someone that would only watch horror movies. I would consume, the darkest music, and that would be my safe space. And, now I see things from a different vantage point. I can see where this negative reptilian order is pushing a narrative of pain, of distortion, that allows us to feel a layer of uncomfortability that should be sickening to us, everyone, is what I want to share. And it is that it feels putrid to me. It feels so disturbing, some things that, I see being shown to us day in, day out. And even with regards to the news, the news is just showing us things that are just of such a negative degree that we just don't need to be consuming it and allowing that to affect our mental psyche, everyone. And I think as soon as any part of your defenses is down, that is when this energy comes in. And it only takes a split second for something to really affect your system. And that be something that, if you're not in control of your energy or know how to particularly protect yourself, it can be detrimental in some degrees, everyone. And that's not necessarily to say those of you that are watching here, but also to some degree it is. And Lucifer brings forward this information of some of us are still in the realms of working through past lives that we've lived as part of this negative reptilian order, part of this darkness somewhere. So we have to be even more careful. And I would I'm definitely one of those beings that I have to be really conscious of my own thought processes and my own mind, because it's not been that long that I've been stood in the light in comparison to all the years that I've been living in the dark. And like I said, it was only through January that I was finally purging out, this dark energy that I've been harboring my whole life. So I know the darkness well, but that also means that sometimes I have a blind spot because it has been so comfortable to me. And Anna Maria, my star sister, one of the fellow Pleiadians, with regards to our channel, is often, sharing this. It's almost like a spot that I will go to sometimes. And we've been in meditations together before. And the way that we were in this meditation, it was like I kept sinking to the bottom of the ocean. And she kept saying, where do you go? Like, where do you keep going? And I was like, I don't know. I just feel it. And this is when I was having to still be battling some spaces with regards to this dark energy. And, it still had a grasp on me somewhere. And, I'm perhaps in some of the lighter spaces that you've been in, but where I was at that moment in time, this darkness was still seeping in, and I was having to pull myself back, to claw myself out, and to keep saying, no, I'm back in the light, I'm back in the light, I'm back in the light. And I think some of you may be there right now, and it's maybe not just obviously aware to you that that's where you are. So, if you have times where you're sinking to the bottom, if you're sinking to the depths of everything, if you're sinking to, just destruction and despair and Depression. This is another big one that I think is incredibly connected to this negative reptilian order because of the way that, well, the pressures that they have put on us, on the way that, you know, we should be living out there is just putting so much pressure on so many beings that I think we're just collapsing at every corner, at every seam, everyone. And, you know, this is why we are here, to fight the negative reptilians' influence on our light spaces. We are considerably a light space, you know, and I don't necessarily want to retract my statement of, you know, Mother Gaia being a prison planet, but I think there is a layer of light that we can always access, everyone. And I think we have to remind ourselves that no matter how dark it gets, the light is always winning. And I think some of you might be getting trapped in this idea of thinking that you don't have control over how, you know, you live or how you're experiencing something. And at any moment we can just decide to say, I'm not going to feel this way. I'm only going to let in the light, and I'm not going to listen to anything of negativity that is in my field, because I think some of you are still getting trapped in past thought processes that just aren't yours. You know, you can put it down, you can say no, and if you feel like you are struggling with this, please don't hesitate to reach out. But I think Lucifer is trying to bring this information forward so it feels like everyday life, because I think that what we're missing is the NR's influence is on our physical daily lives constantly. And it's not until you kind of get to a point of being able to see these things clearly that you don't realize how much it's impacting on you. And, you know, I'm sent to spaces, I'm brought forward, I don't know, I guess, aspects of the dark in so many different forms that I then go and consume, so I can understand, you know, how it feels on the physical vessel, how it feels on the body, how it feels on the mind, so that I can then, you know, send my light out to those certain circumstances. And I think some of you out there are perhaps just not aware of things that you are perhaps still consuming that is holding a negative reptilian frequency, or there is things that are still going on in your energetic field that it's attached to the negative reptilians to some capacity. And I have been sharing the meditation with regards to dark energy, dark entity removal. So if you haven't gone over and done that meditation, I would highly suggest that you do. There hasn't been that many people watching that video, and I was quite surprised by that. So if you want me to go into a bit more depth as to, you know, what all that entails and how you can be doing that to yourself every day as a self-practice, then do let me know. But I feel like there is just sticky bits in the energetic field that we are having to work through at this time, especially those that are of light, because we're coming to a time where we're wanting to access deeper light, everyone. So we're kind of letting go of all constraints of darkness from the past, and this does tie into past lives. And something else that I think I will bring in at a later date is this idea of parallel, you know, times, like our past lives are existing exactly in this time as well. So we kind of are fighting with ourselves in parallel spaces, and I've experienced this personally. I've been in spaces with other beings that I know that are in my physical plane of existence, you know, as something here, but I can see them as something else in other timelines. And, you know, I've had to kind of navigate this space whilst knowing this information and it not necessarily being exactly what is in my field of existence. So I think there might be some of you out there that are battling with parallel times, parallel lives that are connected to this dark order that you keep getting stuck in, everyone. And I think this is part of why we are here, the Light Renegades, to help you be in awareness of that, but also at a personal level. You know, this is something that I've experienced, so I can spot things a mile off. So if you do have question marks around anything, please do not hesitate to reach out. That is exactly why I'm here. But I feel like today has felt like quite a ramble from me. I think it's because I can feel and see all the aspects that I'm trying to bring together, and I don't have necessarily a concrete of what is to come, everyone. But I know that this is just to call in more light. And, you know, apologies, I'm kind of in this in-between stage at the moment with regards to this ceremony looming over this weekend. So I think that I am kind of in prep for that as well. So apologies if this message has felt disconnected. I felt a little bit disconnected today. There's just been a lot of energy coming in for me. But I will be back as soon as it feels right with regards to bringing more information forward. I know that Lucifer actually has a lot to say right now, and I think it's going to be so beneficial for so many out there. Specifically, I think the next coming generation, everyone, to be honest with you, I feel like they've kind of gotten the worst of this with regards to the dark order. But I think that's all I wish to share today, everyone. And, you know, please do take care. And we are here. We are here to be speaking with you. Do not hesitate to reach out if you're feeling anything of, you know, something that you're not entirely sure what it is. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. But that's all from me today, everyone. And I will see you on the other side, hopefully feeling lighter to some degree. I feel like this ceremony has come at such a time where I'll be purging out, you know, the last of anything that was reminiscent in my body of this dark energy, everyone. And yeah, I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunity, and thank you all for witnessing. I know that we're in sticky times and sticky understandings, but I hope you know that I'm here, open-hearted. All of us Light Renegades are here, open-hearted for each and every one of you. But that's all from me today. Take care.